In this short audio clip, John shares his personal story about immigrating to Canada and how he came to doing his first tattoo. This audio clip represents the first 20 minutes of 5 hours of interviewing that I did with John for the Canadian Electric Tattoo Scene book.
Alright, so what is it you want to ask me, man?
The first question I had sent to you is, early in your career, you were deeply impacted by Ed Hardy, and because you had spent some time with him. So were there other people in your world that you looked up to and drew inspiration from, other than Ed?
In regards to tattooing?
Tattooing?
Yeah, there were many other artists that I really looked up to, you know, but mostly in fine arts.
Mm-hmm.
In tattooing, at that time, no, I didn't really know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I got to meet Ed Hardy through Freeman, who got tattooed by Ed Hardy. You know, Dirk Freeman, who came up to Calgary and knew Paul Jeffries.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go down to San Francisco and stay with him while I was being tattooed by Ed, you know.
Okay.
So, no, I didn't really know anybody.
Mm-hmm. And the artists that were outside of tattooing, who were some of the artists that you were studying as just an artist in general?
At that time, I had finished art school and I was working for some companies, you know, that mixed graphic arts and commercial painting together, you know. So, but no, I was never really involved with anybody.
And you went
in the
to
art scene.
Was it Nelson Art? There's an art academy there, right?
Yeah, it was at that time Vancouver, at the Vancouver School of Fine Arts, which was shut down.
Yep.
And they contemplated then to build that later on Granville Island. But unfortunately that didn't happen for some time. So if you wanted to get into the arts program, you had to go through David Thompson University. And that part there was called the Selkirk Division, and it was on Silver King Road in Nelson, BC.
Yeah.
So.
And Nelson, that town has
beautiful
changed
place.
So much. Though it's I drove through there just a few weeks ago, and it was so busy.
Yeah, it was beautiful to be there, you know.
Yeah, I bet, studying art and hanging out as a young man.
Well, I was already with someone, you know, so yeah, I made a big move from Vancouver over there because I was working in the union, right?
Okay, yeah.
Doing graphics and also painting and so forth, but I had some issues at the time, my kidneys, and I wanted to get out of the whole thing. I was making good money.
Yeah.
And I talked to some people at Manpower and I said to them, listen, you know, is there any chance I could get into an arts program? Something I always wanted to do, you know? Because in Holland, when I came over 16, I was already working for a designing studio over there called Lira.
Okay.
In Nijmegen, in my town. I finished technical school at 15, and all the other kids were finished at 18. So I skipped several years.
Wow, really?
I was the top of my class, and then they would give me a scholarship at the Arnhem Art Academy. But everything was set up to go to Canada at the time. So I thought, Canada, okay, let's do some research. Of course, we didn't have no computers or anything, so it was all done by, you know, letters and stuff like that. But I found out that there was a art academy in Banff, the Banff School of Art, you know, very prestigious. And so.
And what a beautiful place.
Yeah, and
pictures of
and I assumed that this would be it for me. So I was quite happy. So in the family, when we all moved to Canada and to Calgary, we were sponsored by some other Dutch people that we knew from Nijmegen, my town.
Okay.
Ended up, phoning the school up, and they were saying to me, "Oh, and how old are you? And did you finish your high school?" I said, "Well, I have my papers from Holland and this and that." And now let's talk about the funds.
Yeah, let's get down.
Money?
to the nitty-gritty.
Money?
Yeah.
You know, because in Holland it was a socialist system, you know.
Okay.
It's paid for.
Sure, yeah.
So that was it, you know. And then they started to throw some numbers around, and my jaw dropped, and I knew I was finished.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was really, it was a big disappointment.
So then your life took a different direction, and then that's when you...
Well, it was survival, right? To help parents, my brother, my sister.
Yeah.
You had to do what you had to do to make money, you know, so that we could pay for the rent, for food, and, you know,
Yeah, for
everything.
sure.
It's
You
about-
just moved to a new country, yeah.
Yeah, oh, it was tough. And then Calgary didn't pan out too much, you know, very cold, and it's like Siberia, and we did a little recon trip in an old Chevy Impala. There were, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in that car.
Okay.
You know, bad shocks and scraping all the way through the Rockies to Vancouver, and then we seen heaven.
Yeah.
So this is more like it. Yep,
Yeah.
we're happening now, you
Felt
know.
good, yeah.
Sure,
And
yeah.
a few months later, we moved everything over here, and then we lived at Trout Lake. Everybody in a big house over there, you know. And I worked as a silk screen printer for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I ended up actually helping my teacher, Mr. Steve Cresta, at the art school, because I was part of the curriculum, right? So I'm the one teaching. Yeah, I knew more than him about printing.
And you were
Yeah.
young. You
Yeah.
were, how old would you
I was
be
in
then?
my 20s at the time. Yeah.
Early 20s, kind of?
This was 86.
Yeah.
I was there 86, 87, no, 76,
Yeah.
77, 78.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I graduated from there, it was me and another woman out of 2 large divisions, and we had 100% out of 100% of our portfolios.
Awesome.
Oh, I kicked ass. I'm very competitive.
Sure, yeah.
If you're gonna do something, do it
Do
good.
it.
My dad was like that, and I always followed suit, you know. So, yeah. So there were a lot of people that inspired me in art, but what I really wanted to do, become a teacher. You see.
Well, that's funny you say that, because you have been a teacher.
Yeah, you have been a teacher to many.
See what happened when I got my, you know, I felt a little cocky, you know, when I had my certification and everything, and I seen Mr. McTaggart, the bald dean of the school, right? And I said, I want to have a talk to you, you know. Is it possible that my credits for this can go to the fine arts, right? Because then I would only have to do a year or something at UBC, and I would be able to teach.
Yep.
He said, no. I said, I don't have the money to go into the whole thing again because, you know. So it was a big disappointment. And at that time, you know, I went back again to Vancouver, started to do some more graphics for different companies. But, yeah, then tattooing kind of just interesting through Curly Allen.
Yeah, so with Curly Allen, was that something where you seen the shop and you walked in, or did you know somebody that knew him? How did that connection work out?
In Holland, you have to remember my town, Nijmegen, Okay, is world famous for the 4-day march. I
Okay.
don't know if you ever heard of it,
No, I haven't.
but if you research that a little bit. And that's been going on for many, many, many years. And they have like people from all over the world that come to our town, Nijmegen, and they have like routes that are 20, 30, and 40 kilometers. And they have armies, you know, from all over the world that participate in there too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And every day is a different route, and on the last day there is a big, massive parade. It's like nothing.
Celebration almost.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And they run those routes with their rucksacks and stuff. too?
Everything,
Yeah,
with the
full
weapons
gear.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I used to tattoo at the barracks, the guys talking about running Nijmegen.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I seen a lot of tattoos
Okay.
at that time.
Oh, that's where your
Yeah.
eye drew to that.
Yeah, because as a kid, you know, we used to stand along the side of the road and we would help them, you know, do things for them, you know, if they
Right.
were thirsty, you know, and get drinks and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or tell them where the red light district was,
Yeah.
and so forth.
Yeah.
And sometimes they would take you into their camp, and they would take the hat around and get all kinds of stuff, rations, and
Oh,
of
really?
course, you know, felt great taking all that stuff home,
Yeah.
Yeah.
passing that on to the family. We were pretty poverty stricken there in those days.
So that helped out a lot.
With you having so much momentum in your art career
Yeah.
so far, when you first started tattooing, at what point did tattooing really command your attention? Like, when did it really grab you? Like, was it right away? Or was it something that just kind of built up slowly and you had to
it
let
did.
go of the past?
It did, yeah. And some of the members in the family that we were sponsored by, they had tattoos. You know, I was always fascinated with tattoos, but more about the, how can I say, you know, the history of it, you know what I mean?
Like
Yeah.
like where the tattoo came from that they got.
Yeah, from Polynesia, you know, from New Zealand, and of course, you know, many of those other places where markings were being done on the skin.
And when you went in to see Curly, you had said in our first interview that you were asking him questions about the history. Do you remember any of those conversations with him?
The thing is, with Curly, I was just in that area, you know, and I seen the shop, and I looked in, and I seen this man in the wheelchair, you know, and I had gotten a tattoo at some time before by a woman that worked over there called Linda May. Yeah, she was the first female tattoo artist on the West Coast, right?
I remember you mentioned her.
Yeah, and I was around and I dropped by. You know, it was a tattoo that I was fond of, you know, a Dutch flag and a few other things, you know.
Yeah.
And I walked in and there's Curly, and he said, "How are you doing?" You know, he thought I was a customer. And I said, "No." I said, "I just want to talk to you, you know, and this and that." And he said, "Come on in," and it made me feel comfortable. And he says, "Oh, so you've been going to art school?" I says, "Yeah, I have," and this and that. And he says, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Why?" He said, "I'm looking for somebody, you know." And I said, "Oh." I didn't know anything about
Did the light bulb kind of go?
anything, you know. And then a guy came in with this woman, and they wanted to have this tattoo off the flash.
Yeah.
This is my initiation. right?
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
He said, "Do you want to do this tattoo?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Do you want to do the tattoo or not?" He put me right on the spot, man.
Okay.
And I said to him, what's the design, you know? And I looked at it, pretty simple, you know. But anyways, I said, "So how do I go about it?" And he said, "There's a drawer here, grab those machines," because he had one arm like this. He grabbed the machines, put them there. He said, there's the black Pelican ink, you know. He had the jars, Nivea jars with the color in there. I think it was white, yellow, I think it was green, red,
Yeah.
you know, and brown, yeah. So that was in there.
Yeah.
And he had a little bit of Dettol. The machines had the tube and the needle still in it, right, you know.
Just soaking.
Yeah, you just rinse it through there. But it was already set up.
Yeah.
And he said, see that pedal? Step on it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to do it. I just wanted to see everything, right? So,
Yeah.
and all of that.
Entertain it.
Next thing you knew, he says, now go over there and see that sheet, that's the number, and go and grab the stencil out of there. It's
Yeah.
the same as on, you know, the flash. He got me to make it nice and dry and clean, put some powder on there, you know, some charcoal powder, graphite, Vaseline on the skin. It was great, you know, guiding me through it, so I put the stencil on there. And I thought, what did I do here? I got sucked in. You know, because he's really smart, eh? Curly was very smart. He was a
Okay.
mathematician, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Intelligent.
Yeah, a very intelligent guy. So he's now grab the machine and you press on it. See, let me see. He goes, okay, yeah, that sticks out far enough. He said, start at the bottom,
Yeah.
because if you stay on the top, you know, you're finished. And I didn't know how deep I had to go or anything, but I figured it out really quick, you know. Then part of the stencil was wiped out. It was an eagle and a snake. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But I could visualize it on there, not a problem, you know. So got it in, then he taught me how to get the shading in there. That was a little bit tricky,
Yeah.
you know.
With the needle.
With the needle, yeah, it was a little awkward, but it worked out, you know. The guy didn't lose his arm, you know.
Yeah.
What a trip, eh?
Yeah.
Just walking in and here you go.
And the tattoo, I think it was $45 for quite a decent sized thing.
Oh, it was a big one.
Yeah, yeah.
That was, and that would have been big for the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
yeah,
that
yeah.
large.
Because most people were getting little, like that was more common, I think,
Yeah.
at that time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
So I gave him the money, you know,
Yeah.
and he told me that I could come back. So that was wonderful.
Yeah.
That's how you started.
And what was going through your head though? Like holy crap.
You know, you're paralyzed, man. In your head, you can't think of anything. It's like you
Yeah.
go to the car and what did I just do?
Yeah,
How
what
did
happened
this
here?
happen? I got hypnotized or something like that. Somebody messed with me here. You know, when you do something and you don't know why you did it or how you did
Yeah.
it and all of that.
That was this case.
Because
Yeah.
you had shared with me that story, but not in the detail you did
Yeah.
today. And I'm thinking, did you have any prior knowledge or? So
No.
This is how it went down.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it went down. And then I started to come there, you know, just to help him out and learn a little bit more. And a very knowledgeable guy, you know. He had friends like Wagner and all those people from back then.
Okay.
Really unfortunate. I should have been a jerk, you know, not a nice guy by, you know. What I'm trying to say, I should have been somebody that had stolen all the stuff out of the place and
Oh,
taken
when-
it home.
Because didn't it get turfed, some of it?
No, he passed away all of a sudden,
Yeah.
boom, like that.
Yeah.
And then his daughter, who was married to a guy that owned an airline company in Vancouver, Coastal Air or something like that. And he didn't have no connections with this woman, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, they had no relationship. They went in and they just took everything out and cleaned the whole place out. Everything went to the dump. The tattoo machines, he had like boxes of frames and everything that is worth like serious money
Well,
these
today
days.
especially, right? All
Yeah.
that old stuff now today is crazy. Like that one auction that
Dan Searles.
Dan was showing us, there are sheets going for $3,000 for one sheet.
Yeah, I have some of those sheets
Yeah.
downstairs. Yeah.
So you were able to keep some of it though. You got very little.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 A tenth of 1%, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
So how
Because
many?
he corresponded with so many people, right? Like
Yeah.
the letters from here, there. That's how things were done back in
Yeah.
those days.
With Wagner, you were saying Wagner.
Oh, lots
some
of people.
The New York guys, I guess.
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
time,
In New York, even Europe and Germany, and you know.
And you have some of those letters?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, you don't have any of those.
No, I seen those letters. I seen what he had and photos and that were signed by them guys and everything, you know, that he
Yeah.
collected.
Yeah.
He had art books, all kinds of wonderful stuff, you know. The place stank like cockroaches, and it was really bad because he couldn't help himself, right?
Yeah.
So how long did sorry, I don't want to take
No,
away,
no,
I'm
you're-
just curious. Then tell me if I'm overstepping the interview.
Yeah. No.
But I'm curious about how long had Curly been tattooing then at that point when you started there with him?
He had been, oh my God, he was 79 or something like that when he died,
Yeah.
79 or 80,
Yeah.
and this was in 1979.
Okay.
Yeah, when he passed away.
Yeah.
78.
Okay.
Yeah. And I cleaned up the shop. I painted a big eagle and snake
Nice.
on the window. Got everything nicely tuned up, you
Yeah.
know. Tried to make something out of it. But I wasn't tattooing. Because he had a lady that was taking care of him by the name of Susana Sabala. I have some photos of her, you know. She was a wonderful lady from Mexico
Okay.
that took care of her.
Yeah.
Took care of him, you know.
Yeah.
And then he taught her how to tattoo.
Okay.
And she had no art knowledge whatsoever. But he did what he had to do, you know, to survive over there, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
A tattoo applicator.
Yeah. Well, even that was questionable. Because later on when he died, she wanted me to do the tattoos, the outline, and then she would color them in. Like what Peter de Haan was doing in Amsterdam, you know?
Yeah.
A shop like that. Yeah, a couple of guys did the outline, move them to the next chair. They did the shading. The other ones did the color. Then Peter de Haan would be standing there in the alley, you know, getting the money, you know. Next.
Yeah. That's right. And how many tattoos did you do before Curly passed? Was it just, did you tattoo on a, like here and there?
No, later on I started to do, I understood the mechanics of everything, you know, and started to learn how to make needles and make my own kind of setups with needles, and then I ordered my own equipment and I worked out of my house for a little while.
Okay.
And at that time I got to know through a friend of mine, Paul Jeffries, who had a shop in Calgary. And they invited me to come over there, and I met Paul, and Paul hired me on the spot. So then I moved from Vancouver to Calgary.
That's right.
Currently, John has taken on a new project where he takes his art prints and adds custom artwork to them. If you would like to purchase one of his prints with an original drawing laid over top of the print, you can do so by visiting www.dutchmantattoos.com. It's a unique opportunity to get a custom piece of artwork from John the Dutchman. Definitely a valuable, timeless keepsake to add to your collection.